Welcome back to My Block Strongest Man, your go-to source for all the latest updates on the Shaw Classic, the inaugural Brian Shaw Classic. And boy, have there been an interesting turn of events as of yesterday when Brian Shaw posted. It's a shocker.
Ciao, homie.
Welcome to My Block Strongest Man, where we bring attention to the world of strongman and show you how you can mimic those activities using everyday objects all around your own property. If you haven't done so yet, consider subscribing and remember to hit that bell button for all notifications so you'll know whenever I provide all the valuable content every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. So without further ado, on to today's topic. So what happened? Well, let's take a look at what the original lineup was for the Shaw Classic. And so it was, I say original, it's been changed several times due to injuries to Kieliaskowski, Rob Kearney, Evan Singleton, and Graham Hicks, who originally took the places of the original two injured fellas. And so now we have, we were left with Novikov, Pritchett, Brian Shaw, JF Caron, Zydrunas Savickas, Adam Bishop, Terry Hollins, Luke Stoltman, Robert Oberst, and Maxime Boudreau. So this was my podium finish and my order of finishers for all the other competitors of what I was doing for my predictions. But Brian Shaw had a big announcement yesterday, and I won't bury the lead too much. Somebody else had to drop out, and it was a big one. It was the biggest one. It was Big Z, unfortunately. So Zydrunas Savickas is suddenly unable to participate, and I tried finding out why. I checked his Instagram, and I don't see any latest posts on there describing why. Brian was wanting to be respectful and not divulge too many details, but all he said was Big Z called him and said, I've been training and I've been having some pain, and on advice of my doctors, I shouldn't compete, so unfortunately I can't make it. And so here, if we check his Instagram, there's kind of the latest training videos. This one's 3 days ago, so there isn't anything updated to say how he hurt himself or if it's some underlying condition or what have you. I checked his YouTube as well, and if you guys haven't subscribed to his YouTube and followed him on Instagram, really great, interesting, international type stuff that you won't see in other places, so you definitely should go subscribe and follow there. But here, see here, full Big Z, log lift training, the Europe Strongman Cup. These are all 3 and 4 days ago, but they're all showing him being very active and winning competition. So I'm not sure what suddenly happened to his training or to his health. Of course, we all wish him the best. Big Z is a legend and a hero in the sport, and we wish him a speedy recovery, whatever it is, and, kind of respect his privacy if he doesn't want to share what it is. But that being said, there had to be a replacement for him, and so that replacement ends up being Kevin Ferris, who I'm really pleased with. Kevin finished 7th at World's Strongest Man, and if we go take a look at how he did, so we can use all my previous videos, I've built kind of an encyclopedia of videos all throughout World's Strongest Man and the lead up to the Shaw Classic here that you can reference for all this information. So even for me, I have it all in spreadsheets all over the place. I just go to my videos and I can get this information much more quickly that way, so I hope you'll do the same. But if we take a look here, Kevin Ferris did exceptionally well on the Farmer's Walk, which was 331 pounds per hand for max distance, so he had 52 meters, and he would have won his group, but Evan Singleton went later and knew he had to do extra, so he kind of had a last-second leap for another extra quarter meter and beat out Kevin Ferris in that group. Kudos to both guys in that respect, but Kevin Ferris has an incredible grip strength. So that being said, there was the deadlift also on day 1, and he had 6 reps, which, wasn't at the top of the group, but it was as good as Brian Shaw and Terry Hollins. So if we go later in my video here, so you see Terry Hollins and Brian Shaw had 6 reps apiece. Of course, again, it's been circulated on the internet that they had an agreement not, to tie each other, but that's not to say Brian could have done more. Maybe he could have done more, but we don't know. I know Terry really looked like he could have done more, but I'm just trying to make the point that Kevin Ferris was up there with some really good deadlifters. And then if we go to my other video where I announced the finalist reveal 2020 World's Strongest Man, we can see how he did on day 2. And so here there was a loading medley, and again, he wins his group in the loading medley with the monster truck parts, and this was an assembly of part rims and all different parts from monster trucks that all the competitors were like, what the hell is this? And like, he just dominated. So I'm really excited to see Kevin Ferris. If you haven't bought the Shaw Elite Club yet, definitely, I did it yesterday, and it's definitely well worth it just for the supportive community. Like, you get on there, and there's guys training from all over the world, supporting each other, and even if there was no, quote unquote pay-per-view, it would be worth it just for that reason. And so Kevin Ferris ends up in the dumbbell clean and press doing 5 reps, not among the top guys, but a lot better than the bottom guys, right? So, for example, like, he did better than Luke Stoltman did in this event, and they'll be competing against each other at the Shaw Classic. And then he ends up making it to the finals. So how did he do in the finals? Well, as I said, he finished 7th, which is really respectable. I mean, he ends up getting 7 points in the loading medley. So, like, these fast events and grip-heavy events, he seems to do really well in. So 7 points there. He did not do well on the keg toss, only 2 points. The log ladder, he did pretty well. 6 points is not at the top, not that far off. 4 points in the deadlift, so 440 kilos. I'm using the 18-inch deadlift for comparison here because the Hummer tire, I think, is closer to that than a traditional height deadlift. And then 9 points on the Hercules hold. So again, anything with grip, this guy dominates. And Atlas Stone's not so great. So that's kind of the bunch of information and data that I'm using to comprise what will now be my new predictions for the Shaw Classic 2020. So, Shaw Classic, shocking turn of events. Big Z has to drop out, unfortunately, and replacement Kevin Ferris will come in 4th. You heard it here. He came in 7th in World's Strongest Man, but I think this set of events supports him coming in 4th. Why? Well, in the log press, I'm giving him 7 points because of how he did in the log in World's Strongest Man. He actually did very well on the log. And then Super Yoke, there was a yoke in the medley with the anvil at World's Strongest Man. And again, I think, did we say he won his event there? So here's the medley. Kevin Ferris had 7 points, so 4th place there. And again, that included an anvil, so difficult to tell if a yoke by itself will yield the same result, but we're taking the data that's closest to what we need to discern here. Farmer's Walk, I gave him 9. I think Novikov will beat him, and I think nobody else will. So there you go. And that Farmer's, by the way, is a Farmer's into a frame, so I just couldn't fit that in the eye, but it's here above. Here you go, Farmer's medley, 3 lengths of the course, 2 sets of Farmers for 2 lengths, and then a frame for the last length. So I feel he will do very well there. And then the deadlift, I gave him 4 points, kind of more toward the bottom of the pack. He did very well in deadlift, but in this type of deadlift that is closer to an 18-inch, you can only go by his latest results, and he was good, but not near the best. Circus Dumbbell, I think he did really well. Not Brian Shaw well, who I am giving the win in this event to, but I think Kevin will get 7 points there. And then Atlas Stones, he didn't do well at World's Strongest Man, so as long as he hasn't made some giant improvements since then, I'm putting him last in the Atlas Stones. But even that being said, I think he'll do well enough in all these other events to come in 4th. It would be a total of 35 points. Amazingly enough, edging out JF Caron by a point, which sounds stupid, right? It sounds like JF Caron will definitely podium here like he did at World's Strongest Man. How's he possibly going to come in 5th? But kind of doing the math with these sets of events and how each of these guys have done most recently, this is what it comes out to. So, my newest prediction, given the switch out for Big Z going out because of kind of an unforeseen injury or illness, we don't know what, with Kevin Ferris coming back in, is Alexei Novikov still wins the Shaw Classic with 54 points by a comfortable margin, 1st place. 2nd place, Jerry Pritchett with 47, and also by a very comfortable margin. I think Brian Shaw with 38 is far behind. But that's your podium. Novikov, Pritchett, Brian Shaw. I have Kevin Ferris jumping into the lineup to come in 4th. JF Caron 5, Adam Bishop 6, Terry Hollins 7, and I might end up switching those because they're training together, so or at least they've done some training together, so I'll have to reevaluate that. Luke Stoltman, 8, so he's come up. Maxime Boudreau, 9, he's also come up. He was 10. And Robert Oberst has dropped down to last place. And so that's my finishers. I hope you found this useful. I hope you'll tune in every day for all my competitor prep training updates, and we'll see you again next time. So if you like this video and want to learn more about any of the products I described during this video, make sure to check out the links in the description below. So if you like this video and haven't done so yet, please consider subscribing using that button right there. And also stay tuned for some other videos that you might love blooping up right there. This one is the one that YouTube thinks that you will like the best, and this one is the one that I think you will like the best. As always, share this with everyone, and until next time, ciao, homie.